Looking up to nice and dry skies in southern Colorado this morning. That means a beautiful sunny afternoon ahead. The preview of your Wednesday forecast coming up.
Colorado Springs firefighters set to begin a week of live fire training. We'll tell you what they'll be doing.
And with more counties opposing the proposed red flag bill, we're taking a look at if the bill is even constitutional.
And would you let a stranger rent your car instead of having it sit at the airport?
You're watching KRDO News Channel 13, where the news comes first. Your news starts right now.
Good morning, Colorado. It's 5 o'clock on this Wednesday, March 20th. I'm Rob Namnoum.
And I'm Dani Fried. Thank you so much for joining us. That whole renting your car thing is a little different. Not sure if I'd do that. What do you guys think?
I don't think I'd leave spare change in the console. I'll leave it at that.
Amongst other things, right? Clean out your glove
Wait a minute.
box.
I had at least $3 in nickels here. Now they're all gone.
Those nickels. Darn. Well, we'll have more on that story coming up in just a little bit. But it should be a pretty beautiful day out today.
Beautiful day. Yeah, happy spring, by the way.
Same
it starts
to you.
Today. Thank you.
Let's let it be real spring minus the wind.
Yes. Well, when it officially becomes spring, the weather is officially sunny and 75 every single day.
Yes,
yeah,
every
that's
time.
a proven meteorological fact. So, especially in Colorado, we all know
that's
that.
for sure.
Yeah. So, well, let's start by looking in Pueblo right now. We've got a beautiful start to the day. You can see the full moon up at the top of your screen, making for a bright start in some areas this morning. Right now, it's pretty cold. But I promise you this will be our last cold morning here. We're only going to have 60s from here on out to start out the day because spring officially begins. 22 in Pueblo, 27 in La Junta right now, 21 in Lamar, and we've got 23 in Lyman. Maybe if we say it enough, it'll be true, right? Visibility about 10 miles across many places in Colorado, but you will hit some fog as you travel back through La Vida, back into Costilla County there. So forecast today does bring lots of sunshine, bright, beautiful day ahead here. We've got 40s in through your lunch hour, and then we'll get into the 50s later this afternoon. We will stick with some clear skies as we head through tonight. So great start to the day, but we do have more rain chances ahead as we go through the rest of the week. Right now, I want to send thanks to Dani. She's checking on the roads.
Yeah, that's right. Right now, we're actually looking all right this morning. I-25 and Highway 85, 87 here for you. Obviously not too bad. Still a bit dark. Still getting used to that whole time change thing. But Hannah Knutson will have all of that in just a little bit. We'll bring that to you in just a moment.
All right, looking ahead, the Colorado Springs Fire Department will begin live fire training today that will run into next week.
Yeah, and KRDO News Channel 13's Colby Crossley is joining us live now with more on those details of the training. Colby.
Good morning, Rob and Dani. Well, I'm outside the home here on Broadmoor Bluffs where they will be conducting that training. If you take a look behind me, you can see that they have come through and already stripped out this entire house. It looks like the windows are gone. And they've completely stripped the inside of it. Now, this training will run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. today. And if you take a look at this video that we're showing now, this is from last year's training. Now, this video is a little different this is more of a house fire than a structure fire. And as for this year, CSFD has acquired a structure with the intent to perform live fire training. The opportunity will exist for 40 companies to participate in 24 live fire evolutions from March 20th to March 28th. Crews and Training Division personnel will be on scene from approximately 8 a.m. this morning till 6 p.m. each day, as burns require structure rehab to remain compliant to the live burn rules and regulations found in National Fire Protection Association. Now, coming up in the next half hour, we're going to kind of tell you what to expect when you come to this neighborhood this morning and into early afternoon, and what you expect to see and what you might be dealing with if you drive past this area. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So in Colorado Springs, I'm Colby Crossley, KRDO News Channel 13.
All right, Colby, thank you so much. Well, Canyon City has declared itself a Second Amendment sanctuary city, and now a Pueblo City councilman says he'll introduce a similar measure. Critics worry the red flag bill, which would take guns away from people with mental health concerns, could be a violation of their civil rights. Now, under the bill, the person whose firearms are targeted wouldn't be present at the first court hearing. John Walsh, former U.S. Attorney for Colorado, says the bill, as it's written, is constitutional, and such hearings aren't unique to extreme risk protection orders.
It is completely constitutional and consistent with due process to have those hearings if they are limited and if the person has an opportunity to defend themselves in a short period of time.
Should the bill become law, it can be challenged. The Senate Appropriations Committee voted to pass the bill onto the full Senate.
Now, that bill has been at the center of recent complaints by state Republicans. They say Democrats have been pushing bills through too fast and with no respect for legislative procedure. It all came to a head last week when Republican Senator John Cook, in an effort to slow things down on the floor, requested a 2,000-page bill be read out loud in its entirety. Democrats responded by running the bill through a computer voice program that read the document so fast the words were unintelligible. Now a judge has ruled any senator can ask for any bill to be read in its entirety on the floor, dealing a blow to Democrats and giving GOP leaders a tool to slow down the rest of the legislative session. Senate President Leroy Garcia called it a loss for Colorado, adding, "I will not stoop to using obstructionist tactics and will continue to keep my caucus above the political gamesmanship demonstrated by those on the other side of the aisle."
All right, well, coming up, something that Rob needs to teach me a lot about. The madness is about to begin, and everyone wants a piece of the action.
They sure do. It's March Madness. How much money Americans will gamble on in this month's NCAA tournament.
This is how I set my bracket. Rob, you've got to be so proud, right? Denver looking really pretty this morning. We've got clear skies in the Mile High City. So if you have to head that way for work, I'll have your commute forecast coming up next, 5:06.
Welcome back. Well, the first round of the NCAA men's basketball tournament starts tomorrow. The play-in games began last night, and Americans, well, they'll be betting big.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know I'm betting big.
Yes, you will.
Let's do it, right? Well, we want to check in with Mike and Renee. Billions will be wagered on this tournament. Crazy, guys.
Well, according to it is crazy. According to the American Gaming Association, $8.5 billion will be bet on the tournament. And are you ready for the numbers? So 47 million Americans are expected to place a wager. And maybe not wagering, but 40 million are expected to fill out a bracket. Have you guys filled out a bracket yet?
We're just
Sure
talking
have.
about that. Yeah, you filled out yours.
I actually filled one out while doing my live podcast yesterday for KRDO News Radio.
There you go.
So if you go to my Facebook page, you can watch it and then pick the opposite, and you'll probably do quite well.
I was going to say, I was just going to copy down whatever Rob said.
No, you
and
don't want to
just
do that.
Cross my fingers, right? Oh my gosh.
You guys want to know my strategy for
Yes.
filling out a bracket?
Please.
I was telling Rob about this earlier, and he was like, yeah, I go by mascots.
Yeah, that's what
that
Rob
works
was
a lot.
talking about. Yeah,
That really does.
absolutely. Yeah, I had a friend who did whichever mascot could beat the other in like a physical fight. Like,
Oh my gosh, that's
you know,
hilarious.
that's a good way, right? I don't know. That's awesome.
And the other thing that comes with the NCAA basketball tournament is productivity goes down in offices because
Yes.
people are watching live streams instead of doing their work.
Right.
So it's really quite destructive for our country for the better part of 3
Right?
weeks.
You know what, though? If it makes people happier at work, it's probably worth it.
I
right?
think it's, in all sincerity, I think it's actually a good morale booster
Yeah.
to have an office pool with, a couple of bucks. I'm not
Right.
talking hundreds of dollars. I think it, just adds to some camaraderie and,
Yeah.
gets people connected a little bit more.
There you
Yeah.
go. Absolutely. Well, thanks, Mike and Renee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And as I mentioned, if you need help filling out your March Madness bracket, you can download the latest installment of the Nam and Eggs podcast. Just go to KRDO.com, click on the radio tab to find it. This week on the podcast, also talk about the CC Tigers' first trip to the Frozen Face-Off and the Broncos' moves during free agency. Now, let's take it over to our March Madness bracket. Oh, no, Katie, your expertise is in weather, not March Madness, correct?
Yeah, I can forecast.
I get confused sometimes.
Yeah, you do not want me forecasting March Madness brackets. I got the sunshine for you. It's an easy forecast today. We've got beautiful blue skies. We're headed up to Denver, mid-50s in the forecast today. So great start to the morning. We'll probably shed some layers later on this afternoon, and we're going to be feeling comfortable here in Colorado today. We've got the sun in those 40s for your lunch hour, and then we'll get into some 50s later on today. We stick with the clear skies tonight, but our pattern starts to change again Thursday into Friday. That means a little bit more rain starting to move in. Should get into a break Saturday. We've got some more rain opportunities Sunday into Monday. So your 7 days will be coming up, but we will send things over to our expert, Rob. He's got the latest.
Traffic expert, just for the
Traffic
5
expert.
to 5:30 hours. So then we let Hannah come in and be the real expert. All right, this is I-25 in Tejon, where things are moving pretty smoothly at 5:11 on this Wednesday morning. Hannah Knudsen, as I mentioned, will have full reports on conditions beginning at 5:30.
All right, well, speaking of that, gas prices continue to soar across the U.S.
Yeah, they sure are. Find out what's driving up the prices, and that's coming up.
Plus, a controversial author shares a warning about marijuana, why he says many are underestimating the problems with pot. A controversial anti-marijuana author spoke to groups in Denver and Colorado Springs yesterday, warning about a potential connection to mental illness. Now, Alex Berenson is the author of Tell Your Children the Truth About Marijuana, Mental Illness, and Violence. He cites a link between marijuana use and increases in rates of psychosis and schizophrenia, as well as ties to violent crime.
There are going to be a lot of people who develop schizophrenia whether or not they use. What it looks like is there are some people out there who might have a genetic predisposition to develop it, but it's the use that pushes them over the edge. And if they didn't use, they wouldn't develop it. And I think scientists are arguing about how many people that might be. But here's another really important message. If you have a family history of mental illness, this drug is more likely to be dangerous for you.
Berenson's research has been called into question by experts. Shortly after the release of his book this year, he was blasted in an open letter by 75 scholars and clinicians for irresponsible claims. Meanwhile, a new study released yesterday says the number of teens smoking pot in Colorado has dropped below the national average for the first time. The study surveyed about 56,000 young people statewide. According to researchers, the national average of teens who admit to using marijuana is at 20%, while in Colorado that number is at 19. Now, Denver's high cost campaigns say ads are working. 75% of teens who knew about the campaign said it discouraged them from smoking.
Gas prices continue to rise across the United States, which isn't uncommon as the weather starts to warm up, but recently they have risen a little too quickly. Yesterday alone, many local gas stations raised their prices at least 3 times. The lowest price per gallon of unleaded, around $2.20, while the highest is around $2.60. A gas analyst explains the recent increase.
First of all, refineries are starting to do maintenance ahead of the summer driving season, which can take them anywhere from 1 to 2 months. We're also transitioning to cleaner, more expensive summer gasoline at the same time. So both of those issues kind of play off each other in a negative way.
Patrick DeHaan of the price tracking website Gas Buddy says in Colorado Springs, prices have increased 32 cents a gallon in the last month, 12 cents in the last week. The increases should eventually level off and eventually drop, but until then, it's unclear how much higher they could get. Remember, you can stay ahead of changing gas prices with KRDO's Gas Tracker. It details the rising prices and shows you where you can find the cheapest gas. You can find Gas Tracker on our webpage, krdo.com.
All right, well, let's take a look outside right now. Colorado Springs here from our ABBA Eye Care Neighborhood Weather Network camera here at Powers and Woodman. Looking actually pretty nice out there. It's nice to see some clear skies after some of the mess we've seen over the past week or so. Let's go ahead and get over to Katie Donovan with more on our weather. Katie?
I know, yeah, I love coming to work on sunny days, especially after we've had a ton of storms back to back. So today's a treat for me. I hope the same for you. It is the first day of spring today. It officially begins this evening, so you're going to be treated to some nice spring-like weather. We've got 50s and 60s in today. Lots of 60s out east, 53 in Walsenburg, 55 today in Trinidad, and as you head towards the Pueblo area, you're going to find some 50s to near 60, 54 in Colorado City, and a little bit chillier back towards Westcliff. Definitely more snow on the ground there, but could be a lot worse. We've got 51 today in Briargate, 53 in Peyton, 50 in Calhoun, and those mid-50s through Ellicott, Hanover, and Fountain today. So I want to show you our water vapor loop here. This essentially just shows us where moisture is present in the atmosphere. It's not a very hard map to read. You just look for the bright whites and the greens. That tells us where there's moisture present, and anywhere you're finding some grays, that's where some more dry air is in place, especially if browns start to appear on the map there. So we are finding some dry air working into the region, and that is because a lot of our moisture and active weather is now pushed eastward with our jet stream pattern. So we're under a nice high pressure sky today. High means dry, so it is going to be a nice quiet afternoon here, but just off to the west, another area of low pressure, and that's going to start to push in by Thursday night into Friday. So what that's going to do, it's going to bring some more moisture into the area, and that'll come in the form of rain and maybe a little bit of snow. So you're going to notice those chances on your 7-day forecast here. We've got a little bit of snow Thursday into the day on Friday. Saturday looks quiet, and then Sunday and Monday, snow changing over to a little bit of a rain-snow mix. Canyon City, you're also going to be seeing some rain and snow Thursday night into the day Friday. It does change over to rain. Saturday looks quiet and mild with a high of 60, and then Sunday we'll see a mix of rain and snow, and eventually changing back to rain as we head into Monday afternoon. Pueblo, you'll also see a little bit of rain Thursday through Friday. Saturday looks quiet with a high of 66 degrees, and then Sunday night to Monday, a little rain and snow changing to mostly rain for Monday. It does stay really mild here for our 7-day forecast, and in Colorado Springs, we have lots of nice temperatures in Thursday and Friday. Bring a little rain. I think Saturday looks dry with a high of 60, and then Sunday night, rain and snow. We'll see it changing back to rain on Monday. Tuesday looks beautiful, though. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 59. We'll send thanks to Dani now. She's taking a look at the roads this morning.
All right, Katie, thanks so much. Taking a look outside right now, I-25 in Nevada for you as traffic begins to pick up a bit, but still moving along pretty smoothly here. Hannah Knutson will have a full report of conditions starting at 5:30.
Peloton is facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
Yeah, it's a doozy. We'll tell you what for coming up.
Plus, a doctor is taking the phrase, "you are what you eat," one step further. We'll explain after the break.
Welcome back. Well, you've heard the phrase, "you are what you eat." We've all heard it, right? Yeah. Well, what if you could eat to beat disease?
That would be good. That's the title of Dr. William Lee's new book about foods to boost your health and immune system. Now, it doesn't contain a weight loss program, and it isn't about what to avoid. It's a guide to integrating some of the hundreds of health-boosting foods that research shows starve cancer, reduce your risk for dementia, and beat dozens of avoidable diseases. Dr. Lee's top 5, here they are: soy milk, dark chocolate, tomatoes, sour bread, and mango.
Mango.
Mangoes actually are quite amazing because they actually activate all 5 of our health defense systems at the same time.
It's good to know. I love mango. I've got some mango sherbet in the freezer right now. I'll probably have that for breakfast.
Yeah.
The goal is activating those 5 health defense systems in your body by eating 5 disease-fighting foods 5 times a day. That's it. Just 5 out of the hundreds of options. Dr. Lee says choose foods you already like, and you'll have a head start on health because you're starting to eat what you love.
And I saw a picture of wine in there, you know, some good
wine. There's a lot of benefits to a glass of wine every day.
Antioxidants, a little bit of dark chocolate with it. See, there's plenty.
Sourdough, really good. You ever have a sourdough soup bowl bread thing?
Bowl.
Oh yeah,
gosh.
Bread bowl.
Yeah.
That is pretty good
now
too.
We're getting hungry. It's like 5:30, almost lunchtime.
Yeah,
for us,
our bodies are telling us it's time for
time for breakfast.
some food, some nourishment to boost our immune system so we can be here every morning at 5:30.
I love it. All right, well, coming up, still got a down tree from last week's blizzard. You're actually not alone.
You are certainly not alone. We'll tell you which ones are the city's responsibility and which ones are your responsibility. But first, here's today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Peloton is facing a massive lawsuit.
A publisher representing songwriters is suing the company for $150 million. The exercise program, which lets users stream workouts from home, is accused of stealing more than 1,000 songs from artists like Drake, Lady Gaga, and Justin Timberlake. Peloton has not commented on the lawsuit. Google is jumping into the gaming bandwagon.
The tech giant announced its Stadia game service will debut later this year. The service will allow you to play games without downloading them, streaming them straight from your cloud to your browser, Chromecast, or Pixel devices. And finally, Instagram has introduced in-app purchases.
Customers can now click to buy products straight from post without ever leaving the social media site.
Convenient.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
You're watching KRDO News Channel 13, where the news comes first. Your news starts right now.
Good morning, Colorado. It's 5:29. It's Wednesday, March 20th. I'm Rob Namnoum.
And I'm Dani Fried. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Wanting to start you off, of course, outside, giving you a live look here at Woodland Park. Now, of course, we like to use these trees as our wind gauges, and not seeing any movement, so that's a good sign.
Although
and
you
nice
missed
blue
it, Danny.
sky.
Last week we were talking more about that flashing red light. But we won't get into that again.
Okay, I gotta
That's a whole another ball of wax.
This during the break. Oh gosh. All right. Well, in the meantime, the flashing red light, huh?
Yeah. Trying to do some investigating as to what that is.
We did get to the bottom of it.
We did.
Oh, good.
We figured out they do that four-way stop sign, the flashing light, every morning until the sun comes out.
That makes
because
sense.
it's foggy there in the city above the clouds.
Sure, of course. Although not seeing too much.
It's part of my hard-hitting investigative journalism that I bring
We're very
to the
proud
show.
of Rob.
You missed your calling, Rob.
I sure did.
Really
I sure did.
And you need to be on March Madness, and you need to be on Investigative
There you
Report.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. We've got it.
Oh, man. Well, hey, a nice day today. We've got beautiful sunshine in this afternoon. Temperatures are in the 20s in Colorado Springs right now, about 27 in La Junta, 21 in Lamar, and 22 in Springfield. As you head a little bit further off to the west and north, you'll find some teens. So Glenwood Springs, Gunnison, and Steamboat Springs anywhere from 10 to 12 degrees this morning. And we are finding some patchy fog. Anywhere we're finding color on the map, that's where there's some visibility issues today. But most places in southern Colorado are actually waking up to some nice clear skies this morning. So that's the good news going forward. Really light winds sustained anywhere from 0 to 10 miles per hour, and you're really going to find that wind as you head out towards the eastern plains. So you folks there waking up to a little bit of a breeze, but most places along I-25 actually feeling pretty nice today. So maybe you want to do some winter fly fishing today. It's going to be the perfect day for that. We've got mostly sunny skies in for the afternoon. You'll want your sunglasses and your jacket. Temperatures will be in the 50s later on today. In fact, out east, highs getting into the 60s. So really, really nice day overall. But we do have some more rain moving in tomorrow, so we're going to talk about that coming up. But right now, Hannah Knutson's in. She's in with your traffic tracker. Happy spring, Hannah.
Happy spring. Happy first day of spring. And you know what? To celebrate, Dairy Queen is giving away free vanilla cones today. All the information on our website, krdo.com. To celebrate the first day of spring. Overall traffic looking great this morning. Accident-free in Colorado Springs. The biggest thing I am tracking is construction. Westbound lane restrictions on Barnes between Peterson and Mark Shuffle. This will continue for the rest of this week and all of next week. To get around that construction, I would suggest taking North Carefree Circle or Stetson Hills Boulevard to avoid that in the area. And speaking of construction, Colorado Springs, the city of Colorado Springs has been busy since the blizzard. They say we've got pothole crews out filling and repairing potholes. So far, we've received about 200 requests for pothole repairs, plus requests for median, curb, gutter repair, and down street signs. To submit a request using the Go Springs app on a smartphone or by calling 385-ROAD. So they are out, they are repairing the roads following the blizzard, something to keep in mind. But if you need to go report a pothole repair, you can call 385-ROAD. That's Look at the Roads, your Waze Report next. Danny and Rob, back to you.
All right, Hannah, thank you so much. Well, looking ahead, the Colorado Springs Fire Department will begin live fire training today, and this will run into next week.
Yeah, KRDO News Channel 13's Colby Crossley joins us live now with more details on the training. Good morning, Colby.
Good morning, Rob and Danny. Well, yeah, as you mentioned, this training, it'll run through the next week, but that first training will begin today at 9 a.m. and it'll take place right here at this house on Broadmoor Bluffs Drive, and you can see that they've already come through and completely stripped out this house. The windows are broken out and the inside is completely gutted. Now, what you should expect if you're going to be driving through this area today, this training will be happening on Broadmoor Bluffs Drive, as I mentioned. Neighbors will see CSFD live fire training signs in the median of the Broadmoor Bluffs Drive and CSFD apparatus parked in the nearby structures to the east and the west. The road will remain open in both directions throughout the training, but please be aware of large fire apparatus entering and exiting the properties on the north side of Broadmoor Bluffs Drive. The trainings will take place sporadically over the next week, including every day the rest of this week. Now, they'll be burning this building, as you see behind here, and they'll be doing numerous of training activities. So again, we're going to probably be here throughout the day keeping you updated with this and their training progress, and kind of just talking to them about how this is beneficial to them to actually practice on a real home. With that, I'll send it back to you in Colorado Springs. I'm Colby Crossley, KRDO News Channel 13.
All right, pretty interesting, Colby. Thank you for that. Leaders in Boulder are now deciding how to respond after a black student was detained by police while picking up trash outside his home. Now, it's video that's been seen around the word. Zadad Atkinson was picking up his trash in his yard and he was surrounded by officers. He was eventually let go. Now the city of Boulder is trying to have open dialogue to bring people together. Atkinson says he hopes this sparks more than a conversation and has asked for an independent review of the incident.
While the Boulder government is trying to create an appearance of racial sensitivity, this stance is for the sake of appearance only. I had guns pointed at me because of the color of my skin. This is unacceptable treatment of anyone.
A 2016 report found African Americans are twice as likely as whites to be arrested in Boulder, despite making up less than 1% of the population.
Well, still have a downed tree from last week's blizzard? You're actually not alone. The Colorado Springs Forestry Division is still taking dozens of calls for service. Crews are still dealing with downed trees in the street. In this case, a private tree fell on a public road, but that doesn't mean the property owner is off the hook. For those hauling their own debris, there are places taking trees and limbs, but it will cost you between $5 to $20 per truckload. If you think you have a tree the city needs to haul away, you can go to our website, krdo.com, for more information.
Well, we're looking forward to this, to some exciting new changes here at KRDO. Our partners at KRDO News Radio have announced the return of live news during your afternoon drive. The announcement came last night at a special reception for radio clients. The live newscast will kick off April 8th and run from 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. The new program will also mark the return of a familiar voice, Dan Karcher, the former voice of the Colorado Springs Sky Sox. If you haven't already, you want to program 105.5 FM, 1240 AM, and 92.5 FM into your car radio, because we'll have the only live radio newscast in the market.
Very impressive. Something that I know you've done already. And
I have done.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it'll be very valuable for people, especially getting traffic updates. Right. You're in your car. Maybe you're coming up on an accident. It'll really be beneficial to our viewers and our listeners.
Definitely, absolutely. Well, coming up, a teacher accused of having a secret relationship with her teenage student.
Find out how the boy's parents uncovered the relationship.
And here's a live look in Alamosa right now. You've got a beautiful morning in the San Luis Valley. The full moon making for some bright light in the sky to start things out today. That means we're on the way to a sunny afternoon. In fact, we can see that moon. I'll have a preview next. Good morning, it's 5:39. Thought we'd look at our weekend forecast to kick things off here. We've got some rain showers in for your Sunday afternoon, really Sunday night, but most of the daytime on Saturday and Sunday is looking quiet. It's going to be really mild this weekend too. Lots of 60s in for Saturday, 50s and 60s on Sunday. So just a little bit cooler, but great next few days here. And then first day of spring again begins today. We've got mostly sunny skies in this afternoon, so the weather does agree today, and highs in the 50s. So maybe give your heater a break, turn it down a couple of notches this afternoon. We'll send things to Hannah now. She's tracking your traffic.
Yes, happy spring, and roads are looking great this morning. We are seeing a car stopped on South Academy Boulevard in the Stratmore Hills area. That was reported by a Wazer 15 minutes ago. Not slowing down traffic because of that. Taking a look at our drive times now. Downtown Springs up to Castle Rock, 37 minutes. Overall, big picture on I-25 northbound right now. Downtown Springs to downtown Denver, an hour and 6 minutes. A great drive time on this Wednesday morning. And then Highway 24 from Woodland Park to Colorado Springs, 25 minutes is your commute. Be sure to join the KRDO Traffic Trackers Waze team. Download the Waze app, W-A-Z-E. It's all free. Once the app is downloaded, click the search bar, click your profile picture, scroll down to where you see teams, and KRDO Traffic Trackers will appear. Click Join Team. It's that simple. Let us know when it's safe to do so. No texting and driving or using your phone while driving. But if you have a passenger in the car, let us know how the roads are where you are, and you could be mentioned on air. Rob and Danny, back to you.
All right. Thank you for that, Hannah. Well, would you let a stranger rent your car instead of leaving it at the airport?
Yeah, this is one that is a little interesting. Not sure. We'll explain this new pilot program coming up, coming to DIA. Goodness, coming up. Time now is 5:43. A teacher in Arizona was caught having a relationship with a 13-year-old student. 27-year-old Brittany Zamora is charged with sexual abuse. The teen's parents uncovered the abuse after installing an app on his phone that tracked his texts. Now, the app is called Sentry, and it flags keywords that appear in text. Now, one day, Sentry flagged repeated use of the word baby. After reading the messages, the parents confronted their son before calling police. During an interview with investigators, the teen described the text.
She said, text her so she wouldn't be bored. And I said, hi, Miss Mora. And she texted back, hi. And then we just like started texting. She was like, OMG, I love you. And I would tell her I'd love her too. And then she was like talking about how she wanted to do stuff with me.
The boy admitted their relationship turned physical, and a scary reality for many parents. The Department of Education estimates 1 in 13 kids experience sexual misconduct at the hands of a school employee sometime between kindergarten and 12th grade. Zamora has pleaded not guilty to a laundry list of charges, including sexual misconduct with a minor, child molestation, and transmitting obscene material.
Turning now to a story that's absolutely Colorado. The Pikes Peak United Way is making sure teens in Colorado Springs are prepared for the future. They gave away 75 laptops to students and their families at Mitchell High School yesterday. It's the 3rd year for their computer giveaway. We spoke with a student who says it'll help her get ready for college.
This is going to help me a lot because I have so many college programs and I have a lot of school going on. And with essays, it's going to be easier to type and everything.
This distribution is part of the Colorado Springs Promise program, a partnership between Pikes Peak United Way, UCCS, and District 11. It's all to help prepare students for the future. Well, instead of paying to have your car just sit at the airport, would you let a stranger rent your car out and get paid for it?
I don't know. It's a new option out of DIA when you're flying out of Denver. It's through an app called Drift. So here's what happens. General Manager Alex David says it's basically Airbnb for your car. So you just park it at DIA and someone can rent it while you're gone. The two big questions, of course, are safety and insurance. Drift says everything is insured, so if someone crashes it or commits a crime, you're covered.
We partner with Allstate very closely to have a custom written insurance policy. Your car is 100% protected from the minute you step on the lot until the minute you leave the lot.
Okay, so what happens if that driver uses your car on a toll road? Well, Drift says you simply send a photo to their customer support line and they'll have the renter reimburse the cost. Now, if you're interested in finding out more, the Drift app is free to download. Although, another thing for me, too, is like, that's a lot of extra miles on your car. I mean, it's more depreciation. Like, where are they driving to?
But there's also, if you leave your car at DIA for a week, it gets kind of pricey. So maybe you cover your costs. I don't know, you have to have a lot of trust in the human spirit to let somebody just get in your car and hopefully not trash it or get into an accident or Lord knows what else.
Yeah, exactly. Although, I mean, yeah, you are covered, but then it puts
it's an interesting concept. Don't know if it's going to catch on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
See, I guess.
I've rented a car through an app before.
Have you?
Yeah, and it was, I saved myself probably over $100.
Wow.
I paid like $30 a day to rent the car.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was very nice. But yeah, I don't know if I'd rent my own.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know about that. But we do have some beautiful weather today.
It's a top-down kind of day, and windows open, crack the sunroof.
You are very optimistic this morning.
It's springtime. I've been waiting for this. I don't know. I like snow, but you get past Christmas, and for me, it's just.
Yeah, the calendar reads March.
The calendar reads March.
Exactly.
It's time for March. So we're going to get some March weather today. This is a look at Turkey Creek right now. I want to show you this view because full moon is officially tomorrow, but you can see the moon is so bright this morning, it's actually casting shadows. So really nice start to the morning here. We've got clear skies around much of southern Colorado, and all the sunshine today is going to be in the 50s. Allow us to warm into the 50s, and you folks out near La Junta, Lamar hitting the 60s today, about 56 today in Lyman. Closer to home here in Pueblo, we've got 58 degrees, 60 in Boone, 54 in Colorado City, and about 54 in Wetmore. And then a little bit further north here into Teller County, we've got some 40s, 48 in Cascade, 40 in Cripple Creek, 54 in Hanover and Fountain today. So a nice one here. This is our water vapor loop. I want to show you this because all of our moisture is moving out. These are really easy maps to read. All you got to do is look for the white. That shows you where moisture is present in the atmosphere. And then notice here as you head up north towards Denver, seeing some more gray. So we're finding a drier air moving into the state today, and that's thanks to high pressure skies. Well, high means dry, so today we're not expecting any kind of rain or snow. It's just going to be sunny and beautiful. But further to the west there, we've got that area of low pressure, and that will eventually make its way into the state as we head into tomorrow night and through the day Friday. So what that's going to do, that's going to bring in some more moisture with it. Just a little cool down. Not going to be anything drastic, but you will notice some rain, some umbrella weather returning to the area. So today again is spring, and then we'll get a little bit of rain and snow Thursday into Friday in Woodland Park. Some of that might linger through Saturday morning. And then as we have look ahead to Saturday, we've got some 40s and partly cloudy skies in the forecast. Canyon City, you're also going to see a nice break in the weather on Saturday, high of 60 degrees. Beautiful day there. Rain and snow Sunday into Monday. And we'll see some rain showers Monday afternoon if that can linger long enough. But Tuesday looks quiet with a high of 60. Pueblo, you're also going to see a great weekend. 66, partly cloudy skies, rain and snow Sunday into Monday. Notice highs stay pretty warm. We've got some 50s on Monday, but getting back into the 60s on Tuesday. And spring's here. We've got some 50s for Thursday and Friday. 60 and dry on Saturday. A little rain and snow Sunday night, but that will change to rain on Monday. High of 55. Be back near 60 with mostly sunny skies into next Tuesday. We will send things over to Hannah now. She's got a look at what's happening on the roads this morning.
Thank you, Katie. Looking in Pueblo, accident-free right now. All is green and all is great on the map. Taking a look now at I-25 in Pueblo. We can see traffic moving along smoothly on the interstate, if the maps will cooperate. And there we go. And then taking that drive time now, Pueblo to Colorado Springs. On this Wednesday morning, your drive time is 37 minutes average for this time in the morning with that average speed of 65 miles per hour. And then when we get to Colorado Springs, we continue to be accident free this morning. I am tracking some slight slowing on Highway 24, specifically in the westbound lanes around 21st Street. We can see speed slowing to 35 miles per hour in the area. A crash hasn't been reported, but just give yourself a few extra minutes if you are traveling to the high country and using that roadway there. And there's a look at the interstate now. Now, Danny and Rob, check this out. So this is Adam Greenbaum, and 2 years ago, he picked up his girlfriend from DIA in 2015. They were long distance. He held a sign saying prettiest girl at the airport. And then yesterday, he repeated the tradition, but proposed in the process at DIA. And he recreated it, and she, of course, said yes and got married right there. And he tweeted at DIA and said, "We need our own statue." But DIA retweeted him and said, "You're not crying, we're crying," or "We're not crying, you're crying."
Oh
and
my
so,
gosh, that's
yeah,
so
isn't that funny? Isn't that cute?
It's a clever way of proposing to somebody.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes, and I have heard of a lot of guys recreating one of the first moments with them. And so that, of course, first time picking her up at the airport, they were long distance, picks her up for a flight 3 years later, 4 years later, and then proposes.
That is so sweet.
I met my wife at a tennis court, and then years later I proposed on a tennis court.
See, I love that.
Sweet.
Yes.
Oh, see, I love that.
Yeah, me
And
too.
Yes, yeah. I like that kind of recreating, you know, if anyone's out there listening.
Yep.
That's how I would like
Yeah.
Hint, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh, such a
we got a
sweet
bare
story.
finger over here.
Yeah.
That
Oh my oh my gosh, well, very sweet story.
Yes.
Anna, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Well, coming up, a family orphaned after their mother is killed won't be evicted from their home after all.
Yeah, find out which Hollywood icon is helping them out.
Plus, we're getting our first look at the newest trailer for Toy Story 4. Can't wait.
No, she literally made.
Los Angeles coroner's office has ruled actor Christoph St. John's death an accident. The Emmy Award winning actor was best known for his role on The Young and the Restless. He died at his home last month. According to the coroner, he died from heart disease combined with an accidental alcoholic overdose. He is survived by 2 daughters.
The family of a woman killed in Atlanta over the weekend won't be evicted after getting help from Hollywood mogul Tyler Perry. Perry has offered to take care of the family's rent for the next 6 months, arrange for Tanisha Evans' body to be flown to Wisconsin for the funeral, and cover her daughter's college tuition so she doesn't have to drop out. Evans was killed Saturday outside a bank near Atlanta. Her boyfriend was arrested and charged with murder. Jordan Peele discusses his next hit opening in the theaters tomorrow, and we're getting a new look at the follow-up to a Disney classic. ABC's Jason Nathanson has that and more.
Jordan Peele's hotly anticipated Get Out follow-up Us hits theaters tomorrow night. The horror film centers on a family being terrorized by doppelgangers, and Peele says there's one key thing that sets Us apart from anything that's come before it.
On the surface, I had never seen a horror film with a black family in the center of it.
Us is expected to take the top spot at the box office this weekend. It's been a tumultuous couple of months for Wendy Williams, and Tuesday she tearfully told viewers of her talk show.
I have been living in a sober house.
She didn't go into details about what led to that decision, but did reference her past problems with a cocaine addiction. Williams just recently returned to her talk show. She'd been gone for 2 months, we were told, because of health problems connected to her Graves' disease. We're getting our first look at the return of Woody, Buzz, and the rest of the gang in the first full trailer for Toy Story 4. And we get some new info about the new breakout toy, Forky, a spork, voiced by Veep star Tony Hale.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Toy Story 4 hits theaters in June. That's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Can't wait to meet Forky. Well, the Oscars may have worked without a host, but the Tonys aren't ready to follow suit. Late-night talk show host James Corden will host this year's ceremony. It will be his second time hosting after emceeing the 2016 awards show. Corden is also a Tony Award winner, taking home an award in 2012. The 73rd annual Tony Awards will take place at New York's Radio City Music Hall on June 9th.
A new hope for new moms suffering from postpartum depression.
Yeah, that's right. Coming up, details on a treatment that promises to treat symptoms hours after a woman is diagnosed.
Plus, a racing pigeon. That's right, racing pigeon commands a kingly sum at auction. We'll tell you just how much.
I love that. And before we take it a break, live look right now, I-25 and the pedestrian bridge as traffic moves along just fine for your Wednesday morning. Time now is 5:58.
Thanks for watching Southern Colorado's most watched local news.